Folks, let me tell you, life has a funny way of throwing curveballs when you least expect it. One minute you're cruising along, paying your bills on time, maybe even thinking about a vacation. The next minute, bam! Your car's transmission decides to take a permanent vacation, or the hospital sends you a bill that would make your hair stand on end. These things happen, and they can completely derail your finances if you're not prepared. That's why building an emergency fund is absolutely crucial, and that's what we're going to dive into today. Now, some of you might be thinking, Dave, I've got a savings account. Isn't that the same thing? Well, not exactly. You see, your regular savings account is for your long-term goals, your down payment on a house, your dream vacation, your retirement. An emergency fund is different. It's your rainy day fund, your, oh crap, money. This is money you can access immediately when the unexpected hits the fan, without throwing your whole financial plan out the window. Think of it like this. You wouldn't want to tear down your front porch to fix a leaky roof, would you? Same goes for your finances. You need a separate fund for those unexpected repairs, those financial emergencies that life throws your way. Let me tell you something, folks. Having an emergency fund is like having a financial shield, protecting you from the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. First off, it gives you peace of mind. Knowing you've got that money set aside takes a huge weight off your shoulders. You can sleep better at night knowing that if something happens, you're not going to be left high and dry. Second, it helps you avoid debt. Think about it. Without an emergency fund, what do you do when that unexpected expense pops up? You whip out the credit cards, right? And then what happens? You get stuck in a cycle of debt that can take years to climb out of. An emergency fund helps you break free from that vicious cycle. And finally, it protects your financial goals. You're working hard to get out of debt, save for a house, retire with dignity. Don't let an unexpected car repair or medical bill derail those dreams. An emergency fund keeps you on track, no matter what life throws your way. Now, you're probably wondering, Dave, how much money are we talking about here? Well, I like to recommend having 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses saved up in your emergency fund. Now, I know what you're thinking. Dave, that sounds like a lot of money. And you're right, it might seem overwhelming at first, especially if you're starting from scratch. But listen, we're not talking about saving up 6 months worth of expenses overnight. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Start small. Even if you can only swing $50 a month, that's $50 more than you had yesterday. As you get raises or pay off debt, keep bumping up that savings amount. Remember, every little bit counts. Now, building an emergency fund doesn't require any fancy financial schemes or risky investments. It's all about discipline and consistency. First things first, you need to make it automatic. Set up a separate savings account specifically for your emergency fund and have a certain amount automatically transferred from your checking account every month. Think of it as paying yourself first. Next, you need to find ways to trim the fat in your budget. I'm talking about cutting back on unnecessary expenses. Do you really need that daily latte? Can you live without cable for a while? Remember, every dollar you save is a dollar closer to your emergency fund goal. And lastly, don't be afraid to get creative. Sell some stuff you don't need anymore, pick up a side hustle, or find ways to bring in extra income. Every bit helps. All right, let's talk about when it's appropriate to dip into your emergency fund. Remember, this is your break glass in case of emergency money. We're not talking about a new pair of shoes or a weekend getaway. This is for true emergencies, like a sudden job loss, a medical emergency that your insurance doesn't fully cover, or a major car repair that you absolutely can't put off. You know, the kind of stuff that keeps you up at night. Don't be tempted to raid your emergency fund for non-essential expenses. Remember, the goal is to build financial peace of mind, and that means having a safety net for when you truly need it. Now, if you do have to use your emergency fund, don't panic. It happens. Life throws curveballs, and that's what this fund is for. But here's the important part. Once you've weathered the storm, you need to make it a priority to replenish your emergency fund as quickly as possible. Go back to your budget, find ways to cut back, and start rebuilding that safety net. Remember, the goal is to get back to having 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses saved up. That way, you'll be prepared for whatever life throws your way. Look, folks, building an emergency fund is one of the smartest things you can do for your financial well-being. It gives you peace of mind, helps you avoid debt, and keeps you on track to achieve your financial goals. Remember, it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much you keep. Start small, be consistent, and I promise you, you'll be amazed at how quickly your emergency fund will grow. And when those unexpected expenses pop up, you'll be ready for them.